and that's fine. I don't oil them. Taking the two tags pointing towards you, of course, I'll just turn that up, make life easier a bit, and you've got your little pin in there. And on a good day, yeah, I think I've done it. And that has to fit between the two tags. There's actually three, but you've got three on here, so you have to get this between two of them. Screw that down, tighten up, got it, release it, and there you go. So that's been oiled, that will spin nicely now, and a drop will do. Sometimes you get an oil hole in there, that's fine, just oil that, and you're away then. So that's that part, and then coming back down the machine, you have this one here. That is nothing, by the way. Looks like an oil hole. No, it isn't. I think this may be the German influence. Some of the German machines have a actual oil tube that comes up through here, and there's a little bit of play with these. You know, how they wanted him to go, because they were getting involved with Germany quite a bit, and I think there was a little bit of, you know, cross knowledge, if you like. So that hole, if it's got one, don't bother with it, don't oil it. You then have this one here, and in there is a felt wick on a spring, which then pushes down onto your main shaft. And this needs a good oiling, and a good oiling, I would say, would be about five or so drops of oil, and you spin it. Oops. Okay, and the machine's starting to really feeling good now. This is why I like spoke wheels, because you can get your finger in and you can just turn them. And I've actually got the spare one, which was on the model there. If I've got a hard, a solid wheel, I take the solid wheel, put a spoke one on, and then I can turn it and keep it going like that. You then come, and I'll put the top on so you know your orientation to it, which you come to that one there, which oils this one. So you need to go down in there and oil. One drop, turn, one drop, turn, one drop, turn, and that should be nicely oiled now. On a PAF 103, it was badly rusted up, so I took it apart to clean all the parts on it, and on here was a massive groove, and I think I've got a photograph of it somewhere, and for the simple reason this hadn't been oiled. Still working okay, no problem. How long it would have continued like that, I'm not sure before it would have, you know, you can keep on adjusting so much, but it grooved it out. for the simple reason that it wasn't oiled. And my problem with this is that that is sort of almost like a secretive hole, if you like, that you have to definitely oil that. You then come to that one, and if you see people oil them, they just put one drop in there and then go away. No, you don't. What you have there is another, where are you? There you go. You have another wick in the, it's like a crown, if you like, at the top of the rod, of the push rod, and that seeps oil to inside there. And what you have to do here is you have to make sure that you are aligned correctly so that when you drop, that oil will go inside that crown head, if you like, onto the wick, which then oils the shaft and the actual type of bearing there. Okay, so what you have to do is and this is all in the manual, you know, I mean it's all there. You raise your needle bar to its highest point, and I'll just turn this round. And I don't think you'll be able to see, but this is the bit we want to oil. Okay, now this is the bit we want to oil. We've already oiled the tuning fork, if you like. That's got the oil in there, but we're doing this one, and this, what happens here, this moves in a sort of like an elliptical way. But the thing is, you can only oil this at a certain stage, and when you raise it to the top, that crown where I just showed you oiled is centralized, and it's also the closest to the top. So you oil on that stroke. When it's come to the top, you then put it in, and I can feel that's gone straight onto the wick. You then oil it and then turn it around a couple of times, bring your needle to its highest point again, and with this is why I like this, I can feel it's gone soft. Oil it a couple of times and turn. Any other time, and you're going to miss that. You're going to miss that wick, and it's going to go out on the side. That wick then goes to a hole, which then goes to the cam on the main shaft. So you've effectively hit it correctly. You then come to the gears, and this I know is always a problem. Okay, you can just see it, yeah. And what they say is you drop it in there and you oil that. I don't think that's a particularly good way of doing it, because what you're hoping for is that the oil goes round the main shaft and then drips down onto your gears. At this stage, I would just oil the gears, because they're most likely dry at this stage, because the kerosene would have evaporated off in some places, and as you can see they're just starting to glisten now. You turn it and turn it and turn it. Okay. And you're starting to get that glaze on them. Okay. Now, going with this one, so you know you've got at least oil on them, and then I put in a reasonable amount of oil with this one, not just single drops. So what you have is you've got a reservoir on top of your gears, and then that will come out as it turns, and this is goes back to the whole gravity thing of the oil working its way down through the machine due to gravity, okay, and centrifugal force, because it's spinning it off, and that oil will start to creep down here on the sides down to the hole, which is pretty much submerged there. Not as clear as the other one, but it is there. I can just make it out, and it will take the oil. So what I do is I add several drops down there. Okay, and turn it, and basically I'm waiting for this oil to actually creep down, because every time you stop the machine it will start to flow down. Okay, but I'm making sure that bushing and shaft, the downward shaft, has got oil in it, and it is starting to use it. There you go. That's it. Right. That's starting to feel great now. You also have your stitch regulator, and there's a block of metal in. Now I'm going to have to turn this a little bit. If you take your back off and you move your stitch regulator and move your machine, you'll see this here moving backwards and forwards, and there's a block of metal on there that actually tracks backwards and forwards, and when you adjust your stitch regulator, it moves that up and down, okay, which then affects your stitch length. Now that needs oil in it, and if you can't see it, you will do it on your machine, because this is very, very tight, and I'm not sure. But it's that bit there, okay. So you oil that as well, and that travels up and down, and you adjust that. Okay. Now, if you notice that your stitch regulator is very, very slack and moves off stitch and everything, you need to tighten that bolt there. Tighten it clockwise and it will stiffen up. Not too tight, not too slack. So you just have to find a just so. I don't normally oil the other side of it, because you need that sort of little bit of stiffness. There will be plenty of oil in there anyway, but you just need that stiffness so it will keep on. Keep it going on the stitching, and it doesn't go off stitch, you know, it doesn't start creeping down or creeping up or whatever. So that's all done. There's a hole there, and I can't for the life of me think what that's there for, apart from just oiling the rod, but there's nothing really there to oil, but nevertheless it says oil it, so I'll put a few drops in there. and getting the machine back into correct orientation. Okay, there is another hole there, and that is for your big bushing that we talked about earlier. Big hole there, and give several bits of oil there. Okay, and that is running very smoothly now, very smoothly. It's just one thinking about it, just go through it. I think there's one thing I missed. Is I would just put a drop of oil on there. I forgot about, sorry. And that's for your, when your presser foot comes up, it it takes tension off your discs. Okay. And I think that is basically it. Now, one thing that is said, I'll just show you where I've put it. There we go. Is you have a hole there that you're advised to oil. That will drip down onto the shaft at the bottom, but I can't really see the point of it because you've oiled the bottom shaft with the bushings in its correct hole. I can't see any advantage of dropping any more oil through there because it's one of these hit and miss jobs. But what you've actually done, yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'll just repeat that because we're talking in the dark. That hole there, I don't bother oiling because I've considered that I've oiled it correctly underneath, and really that oil just doesn't, it's not really worth doing because it would just drop off the transverse shaft at the bottom. So I think I would say we're about done. On the Facebook page I'll do detailed photographs of where you do the oil, just like I've done here tonight, and I think that is basically it. I can't think of anything that I have missed. I don't oil that. That's done. And if you, whilst you're there, you might as well just put a drop of oil on these screws here, that if you're going to take them out, it's not as good as the other one actually, and that one, and that one. So that gives them gives you a fighting chance of when you have to remove the bridge and everything else, if you're going to start doing a bit more removing. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight, and then tomorrow we'll just sling it all back together and see how we go. Okay, thanks very much, have a good evening.